the stage here shortly. So just like you do for all of our UFC fighters, make some noise when Jay and Jake weigh in. We'll be shooting the scene around 3:45 p.m. local. We'll see you soon. Here, I'm John Anik. What a festive week it has been thus far for UFC 285. And for all of those of you who were at the presser yesterday, thank you all for bringing the noise and the energy. We greatly appreciate that. As you know, we have some seriously credentialed heavyweights that are about to join me for about a 25-minute Q&A. So without further delay, as we continue to celebrate the 30-year anniversary of UFC 1, it gives me great pleasure to first call out a UFC Hall of Famer of the highest order, the godfather of ground and pound, Mark Coleman's in the building. How about a hand for him? All right, the next heavyweight we are going to call out has realized a lot of success here in Las Vegas. Top 5 ranked UFC heavyweight contender, Curtis Razor Blaydes. All right, next heavyweight to the stage. Needs no introduction around these parts. Fights out of Las Vegas, Nevada. The former UFC heavyweight champion of the world and arguably the greatest submission artist in UFC heavyweight history, Frank Mir. All right, next up, we will get to the man who is ubiquitously regarded as the greatest UFC heavyweight of all time, the former baddest man on the planet, Stipe Miocic. All right, and last but certainly not least, my broadcast partner, one of the greatest fighters in mixed martial arts history, UFC Hall of Famer, Daniel Cormier. All right, so we do have microphones set up on both sides of the stage. Don't be shy, but as we are filling up those lines, I'm going to start with the hammer, Mark Coleman.
Weights go at it. Tomorrow night's going to be off the charts. I'm excited to be here. I'm grateful.
All right, Curtis Blaydes, good to have you here, my man. You've had a lot of big moments here in Las Vegas, the win over Jairzinho Rozenstruik, some others. Your thoughts on being a part of this panel here today?
I'm just happy to be here. I wasn't expecting to be up here with all these heavyweight OGs and legends. So I'm just happy to be here. Happy to be able to get a front row seat to watch the fights. Thank you. I appreciate that, bro.
And middle of your panel here, Las Vegas' finest, Frank Mir. We don't get to see this guy all that often. It's great to see you, man. Your thoughts on everything that we got going on this weekend?
Well, I think, from top to bottom, it's probably one of the most impressive.
fighters off my back. So I will let these guys answer who they think is gonna win.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the big wrestler, John Jones. I think to the plan, takes this guy down in ground and pound. That's what I'm doing.
Curtis, what do you think?
I agree. I think John's a better grappler. I think if he sticks to the game plan, I think if he uses his wrestling, I think he wins this easily. But if he goes out there and he wants to strike with Gane, it gives him an opportunity to get knocked out. So it just depends on which game plan he wants to use. If he's smart, he'll use the wrestling.
What do you think, Frank Mir?
Yeah, I think I'm with everybody else. I'm voting on John. I think it's a hard fight for Cyril to win. If Cyril is a little taller, I think his speed could pose an issue. But I think that John's reach will nullify his speed that he has, footwork. And John can kick very well. People forget about that. But striking-wise, I don't think it's going to be an easy night for Cyril as other people might think. And I think on his feet, he's going to have an issue with distance with John. He's going to get the shit jabbed out of him, kicked to the head. And then if he tries to close distance, no one knows what it's like to get grabbed by John. John is an extremely strong, great clinch. I think he throws him on his back and outworks him. And Gane will out-wrestle. What's John going to do?
Right. Stipe Miocic, you got a hot microphone. Any thoughts on who wins the main event?
I don't care who wins, I want winner.
Yeah.
I believe you did an interview with Daniel there where you said you were told you would be fighting the winner. Is that accurate? And when would be the perfect timeline for you?
He's watching the YouTube channel.
Watching the YouTube channel.
Thank you for promoting it. Watch the UFC channel. Just throw it out there. And yeah, I was told that, so we'll see. Hopefully, nothing's permanent until it's written out in your contract, signatures, but we'll see.
And Chris Gaines, what do you think that means for you? I know you have a fight coming up with Sergey Pavlovich, but what do you think win does for you in terms of the timeline with Stipe being next?
I'm gonna be honest, I get it. The business, the next title shot is 95% going to Stipe. I understand. I beat Sergey. It'll probably give me Gane, because I think he's gonna lose. I'll have to beat Gane, and then I think after that, I'll get a title shot.
Just last one for me for Frank Mir. Your daughter, Bella, signed the first NIL deal with the UFC. Just wanted to ask what her future in mixed martial arts looks like.
She'll be up here, former champion, telling stories. I don't see Bella right now, that's why I push her. Arguably, I think I have one of the greatest mindsets when it comes to MMA and understanding it and articulating what's going on. That being said, my daughter has all my strengths and none of my weaknesses. She's phenomenally disciplined and focused, and nothing can distract her. I think everybody else needs to figure out what weight class is she in and either eat more or eat less.
Question for Mark, the Hammer Coleman, baby. Right here, brother. As part of this new generation of MMA fans, I think it's important to acknowledge the greats like you. I wanted to say congratulations on your sobriety, and how has life been for you since you've become sober?
Life has never, ever been better. Even when I won the UFC, I got about almost 2 years sober now. Checked into rehab, got my shit together, changed my life, saved my life. I'm so at peace right now. I've never had peace in my life. My kids, just looking at my 3 daughters, I'm so blessed. They're my life. And I'm so grateful to be part of this, the greatest sport in the world.
Question for my man Stipe. I'm not gonna lie, you've broken my heart when you beat DC before. But one of my favorite moments was when you did the jig afterward. Is there any way we can get you to do it again?
Right now? Let's go! Let's go, Stipe! Get it! Jiggy!
Thank you, sir.
Question over here for Frank Mir. Frank, you've been one of those heavyweights. You changed physically. You used to be leaner. You put on muscle later on to compete with the big guys. What difference do you think John is going to feel when he competes at heavyweight for the first time?
Well, I think he did it the correct way. He took his time, just took his body. I think with John, explosiveness and speed were never part of really his advantage. It's his distance, his strength, his timing, his mindset. So I don't think that I honestly think him moving up to heavyweight, he's going to be better than he was at light heavyweight because he has all the strengths that he's bringing up that they're only being. And then his opponents now, I think tall and fast, if you look at John, some of the times he had difficulties in fights, could be the issue. At heavyweight, I think he's going to have less of a problem with people being that type of skill set being brought to him. So I think John, as long as the only attribute that I'm looking for when he fights tomorrow night, if he can still throw kicks the way he has at 205, and the weight hasn't changed that, then I think he's a nightmare.
And a question for Mark Coleman. Mark, would a young hammer want to compete with these guys like the ones on stage and the one on Saturday?
Well, I don't see any reason why not. Hell yeah. It would be some serious competition, but I would find a way to win.
Finally for DC, we saw him embedded, got to wrestle with Cyril Gane a little bit. Do you feel like he's ready for what's going to come out there?
I think he'll be better prepared to defend takedowns than we expect. Just because when he got taken down by Francis, it was Francis kind of out-muscled him. I don't know if he'll get out-muscled by Jones on Saturday. And also, Cyril Gane got a takedown, so I think he'll be okay. I don't know if he'll get taken down as easy as these guys expect, but that's why they fight the fight, right?
Back over here, yes, sir.
How you guys doing? First and foremost, congratulations on 5 incredible careers and all that you contributed to the UFC. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You guys have provided so many iconic moments. Mark Coleman winning the 2000 World Grand Prix, being in the corner with Kevin Randleman, one of the greats of all time. Curtis Blaydes beating Overeem Hunt. Fred Nair breaking Tim Sylvia's arm, and the 2 fights between Daniel Cormier and Stipe. But what would you say is the most iconic moment of your careers?
Mark, can we start with you? The most iconic moment of your Hall of Fame mixed martial arts career?
It's really tight. The UFC being the first UFC heavyweight champion, that's as big as it gets. But losing 3 fights in a row and having pretty much the whole world tell me I'm an old turd at 32, and then being able to come back and win the Pride Grand Prix, I think my emotions after that spoke for itself. It was, shut the fuck up, I'll tell you what I'm at.
The hammer, man. Stealing the show. Curtis Blaydes, most iconic moment of your career, sir.
I haven't had that long of a career compared to these guys, but I think my favorite win would have to be the Alistair win. That was in Chicago. That was like my breakthrough fight. That was the fight where I realized like the best of the best. At that time, he was my first top opponent, and to get the finish the way I did in Chicago, yeah, that's my favorite one.
Frank Mir.
My second fight with Nogueira, just because of the fight and who he was, I think that the reputation of who was going to be the best heavyweight submission artist at the time, I think that kind of solidified it for me in that fight with him. It was always an argument between Nogueira, myself, and Verdun, and then for Nogueira and I to be fighting. And really the way the fight went, because he caught me with a shot, I was hurt, and for me to work myself through it, and not only win, I won decisive there. I think they said it's a spiral fracture in 9 different places. It's a definitive way to put it.
I would say so. Stipe, you've had a lot of huge wins. What tops the list for you?
I mean, you think I'll say like winning a title, but honestly, I don't know if it's a moment, but I think just an experience. You just like meet all the fans all the time. You guys would make the sport awesome. Thank you. I think it's an experience. I'll never forget that.
All right, TC, what do you got?
I just was whispering to Stipe that I was gonna say that it was the moment I beat him. I became the double champ, man. That was a great moment. That was the best.
I figured you might go that direction. Go ahead, sir.
Closer to Mike.
I said, first of all, what's up, Frank? It's Blaze. I wrestled with. First question, Curtis, how does it feel to be sitting up there with the fourth most legendary heavyweights of all time?
A little surreal. I wasn't told exactly what today was supposed to be. I just was told I'd have a microphone in my hand. I didn't know who I'd be up here with, so this is pretty dope. I'm like you guys right now. I'm just a fan. I'm just happy to be here.
And then my second question for DC. Obviously, you fought Stipe 3 times, and you fought John twice. After this fight, Stipe versus Jones is what most people expect is going to happen. How do you think that fight plays out?
Well, that's why I was so excited for the fight whenever it was being rumored, because these are the two most fierce competitors I've ever competed against. And Stipe, with his ability, can match just about anyone, regardless of weight class. He's a big guy, but if he could get down to 205, I think he'd be successful. And obviously, Jones is who he is. And I think that is one of the issues, one of the things that people don't realize about John Jones is how fierce a competitor is. He's not trying to get beat by anyone. So to have those two, and honestly, I lost to Stipe in Anaheim. And after the way that fight started, for him to dig through what he went through to get the victory, it tells me that when you lock these two up, it's truly something special. But Jones has to win first. Right? Stipe will be here in July as the guy challenging for the championship. Jones got to get the job done tomorrow night. Hey, that is not an easy task when your fight's going down.
Well, thank you guys.
Thank you, Blaze. Go ahead.
Hey guys, Dan the Wolfman, MMA fight coverage. I have a question for Mark and for DC. Hey Mark, I'm pretty old school, going back to the first UFC I went to was 19 in Prodigy of Dan Severn. You were UFC 10. Could you ever have imagined what all this has become and how big this is growing for everybody? Could you, in your wildest dreams?
I certainly did. I won UFC 10, 3 fights in one night. I couldn't believe it, what had just happened. The wrestling match 35 days later. I'm beating up 3 guys and the cops ain't coming, nothing like that. I got paid, got a bell. The chick started digging me, man. It was the greatest thing in the world. I forgot the question.
I think you answered the question.
Anyways, as I'm walking out, I said, them fucking Russians are coming, man. And then I visualized exactly what it is now. I really did visualize that because everybody loves fighting. The whole world loves fighting, man. That's what it's all about.
And follow-up for DC. Like OG, I've been around for like 26 years in MMA. But out of all the guys that I would most want to hang out with or get invited to a barbecue or something. So why do you think that you were able to fight, commentate, and still the fans like know that you're real?
Because I'm normal, right? Like you look at me, and these guys are actually heavyweights. I'm 5'10". My bio always said 5'11", so let's go with 5'11". Hey, I carry a little bit around the midsection. If you ever watched WWE, it was Dusty Rhodes. He was the son of a plumber. He was the guy that everybody loved, and I think that is the draw. I'm normal, right? I would fight these championship fights, go to my house on the next day, and people would just say, right? So I feel that's probably the draw, because the guy you get up here is the guy you're gonna get when you run into me in the street or anywhere else. I'm just a normal guy that can fight.
Congratulations on the sobriety. It's an amazing accomplishment.
Thank you.
And my first question is to Curtis. I know you're jumping in at a title shot and really want to get that opportunity. But
Hey, you remember when I beat Stipe in hockey?
Bro.
That was some shit, bro.
Let me talk about that. You
let me beat you in hockey,
and you're like going in front
How
of
you let me beat you in hockey?
That was bullshit.
That was some bullshit.
I want to talk about That's why I'm not going to do it again. It's that shit right there.
Doug, this
They
dude
picked
let
me
me
to
be in
fail.
hockey. Like, what?
You did good.
Hey, well, thank you guys.
Thank you. All right, back over here. Go ahead.
Hey, this is for DC. Since you are the first and only person ever to have, sorry, I can't even hear my shit, to be the UFC light heavyweight and heavyweight champion, what advice would you give John Jones tomorrow night as he steps in the cage on Saturday night as a heavyweight?
I mean, heavyweight's different. I was lucky though, right? I started at heavyweight and then came down. But for Jones, it's just don't be too comfortable in the training because that's where the dangers are. When you go from 205 to heavyweight, the dangers are in the training room because you don't have to do as much to get the weight off. So you tend to sometimes take some practices off, take some days off. You're a little more okay with recovery. Just don't get comfortable because if you get comfortable, that's where you get beat. So stay locked in like as if you're fighting at 205.
Appreciate you, DC. And Stipe, what's up, man?
What's up, bro?
Back over here. Go ahead.
All right. How you guys doing? Hey, how you guys doing, by the way? Happy from Happy Paintball Pins, the smaller paintball owner. I have 2 questions and a comment. So, DC, I just got here. I don't know if you already answered this. Brother, I'm going to address, shit in the room. How's it feel commentating on John Jones' fight after all the bad blood?
I mean, honestly, I think people are making a little more of it than it is because I've done it before.
Sure.
I've already commentated the fight, and the reality is, like, it's his fight. It's not my fight.
Yeah.
I don't fight anymore. Like, it's to the point where people want to put more on this thing than it is. Maybe Jones and I aren't friends, but all that stuff's like in the past. I'm here to do a job, and I'll do the job to the best of my ability.
I had to ask that for everybody. A more personal question, my guy, the Hammer. Look, last year I went through a really horrible year, depression, all kinds of shit. I wasn't even sure if I was gonna be here this year. So being here at the event is amazing. Hammer, do you have any recommendations for anybody that's going through a tough time to get through it?
It's real simple. You have to get help. You can't do it on your own. Nobody can do it on their own. I couldn't do it on my own. I got help, and I continue to get help. I'll get help the rest of my life.
Oh yeah.
It's a lifestyle. It's a new lifestyle, and I love it.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to get help.
That question meant a lot to me. Thank you for answering that, Mark.
Thank you.
All right, for my comment, Mark, you look like a buff atmosphere? That's for you. Yeah, that's for you.
That's Frank, man.
That's for Frank Mir.
Yeah.
Frank Mir. You know who Atmosphere is, the rapper?
No.
You look like a very buff version of him, and that shit's dope.
It's a good thing?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Frank was about to beat your ass. The way Frank looked at you, like, Frank was about to kick this dude.
Hey, that would have been a dope video. Love y'all.
Thank you, man. All right, back over here. Go ahead.
How you doing? First off, big fan of all you guys up on stage. I have a question for DC. So you've obviously fought John Jones and worked a little bit with Cyril Gane. What are the biggest differences between the two, and where do you think each excels against each other?
I haven't really worked with Cyril Gane. Like, that video the other day when I grabbed his leg was the extent to which we've worked together. I think Cyril's advantages are going to be in the footwork and the ability to match John physically, right? He's as big as anyone Jones has ever fought. And for Jones, it's honestly the mind, the fight IQ, you know? I like Cyril Gane as a person. He's one of my buddies. But even he'll tell you that leg lock he tried against Francis Ngannou essentially cost him a championship. Jones would never make that mistake in a fight, right? So Jones's biggest advantage is mind and to be able to stay locked in the fight. Cyril Gane's going to have to match that if he wants an opportunity to win tomorrow night.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Go ahead, Minnesota.
It's for Stipe. When you get your title shot, what is going to be your approach you take when you fight John Jones?
They're just assuming he's going to win.
Well, but my approach, is going to beat that ass. You know, I'm going to train hard and I do what I do every camp, and Don't stop till it's mine.
Thank you. And I want to say, everybody up there, thank you for all the great fights you've given us and will continue to give us. Thank you.
Love that guy. I like him a lot.
Hey, DC, my
Yes.
question's for you. As somebody who fought John Jones, you think his pictogram experience or some of his bad behavior experiences behind him, or if you think that will show in heavyweight?
I don't know. I mean, you kind of hope that he's moved past that, and he goes forward, and he can build a resume without all that stuff, because he's essentially exonerated himself from all the stuff. So now it's a fresh start. He has an opportunity to not mess up, and as long as he doesn't mess up, we can only judge him on what he's doing now. The reason I had such strong opinions is because of what he was doing when we were competing. Back after 3 years, let's see what happens.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I are obviously going to London, England in a couple weeks, and we'll see what Kamaru has to say about all of that, you know.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, man. Go ahead.
This question's for everybody. Everybody's assuming John Jones is going to win. If he does, where do you rank him amongst champs?
Well,
and if not one, who's won?
Well, you gotta. I thought Champ was having the belts at the same time, but so then Randy Couture and all those guys. But if he wins, I mean, he's held belts in 2 weight classes. He has to rank around the top, right? Because anytime a guy wins the 2 heaviest weights, it has to matter. So he'll be ranked pretty highly.
1, 2.
Well, everybody that's held 2 belts at the same time have to be, right? Henry and Amanda and Connor, like, it's a different category. And me, yeah.
I'm what DC said. Honestly, you have to hold the belt twice. At the same time. But I don't know. You'll be high up there.
I put John as the #1 fighter. I think that I know sometimes people want to detract from some of his occurrences that have occurred outside the cage. I get it. But if we're just talking about the minute they close that cage door, I've sat down and gone over film with John. I hear how he thinks about things. I've trained with him for 2 years. I've seen it. If you look at his body of work, essentially he's undefeated. I mean, his only loss against Matt Hamill was a DQ loss.